my name is Jessica Couch. I'm a fashion and technology expert, and I go to conferences and do research so that you don't have to. It is the month of May, which for me is my favorite month because I am a Gemini. I don't need your thoughts around your bad experience with some random Gemini. It is the season of duality of nature, it is the season of seeing both sides, and it is the season of the greatest zodiac. Anyway, I'm super excited because last month, or actually the month before last, I did exactly what I said I was going to do, and I released the Fashion Technology Directory. Now, this is the first of its kind in the world. It's an AI chat agent that matches fashion technology companies to the brands and retailers that need them. And the reason why this is super important for me and near and dear to my heart is because after spending so much time consulting between technology companies and retailers and brands with their tech integration, you realize there is a huge gap. And most of the time, the gap between getting the right technology isn't so much that it doesn't exist, because it absolutely does. The gap is in the conversation and the communication piece. And so, just like with any relationship, communication is key, and you've got to know what you're saying to your target audience, to the person sitting across from you, and to people that are listening to you. And per usual, there's something that's super unique that happens with fashion technology. The tech world speaks one way, the fashion industry speaks another way. And when it comes to matching them up, it's always a disconnect. And so consider me a matchmaker. So we are a third party. We are unbiased. There is no SEO. You can't pay to get your product mentioned more than it needs to be. This is an honest, one source of truth type platform for brands and retailers to take advantage of to help demystify the technology piece. And you can do it privately. And once you find what you like, you can reach out to them without them having to send you a bunch of weird emails or harass you or do the over the top sales thing, which really isn't attractive and doesn't help people make decisions. So that directory is live right now. All of the tech companies so far have asked, can you introduce me to brands? And so let me just say this, we can introduce you to brands, but what we're not about to do is harass brands and retailers because they decided to search for you and then we hand over their information so that you can send them a bunch of emails being weird. We're not going to do that. The whole point of this directory is to allow brands and retailers to flow through the options and contact you so that they can be the ones that are like, oh, you're a match to me. We're super informed and we're actually ready to convert so that you don't have to waste your precious marketing time as a tech company doing things that don't convert at all. So yes, we can absolutely introduce you to personas of the types of companies and roles that are searching for you. But right now, we definitely want to protect our brands and retailers because it's really weird out here, and AI will take your email, it'll take some data, and it will write you corny emails. And personally, I hate that. So that's not an experience that I'm going to build into anything. I like things to be wonderful for everybody. I think we can all win. So what I wanted to go over today was who is in our directory. So I wanted to highlight some of our day ones that are in our directory, give you some details about them, and then have you explore the directory yourself. If you are a technology solution and you want to join, now is the best time to do so because we're running a promotion where right now it's super low cost for our annual fee. And as we add on these extra features, you'll be first to know so that you can upgrade your subscription as you like. Let's get into it. So our first company we're going to talk about is Caimera AI. Caimera is an AI photography and visual content platform built exclusively for e-commerce brands. And this solves a very real problem. You see, fashion is very visual, obviously. We all know about how important it is to see people in products for you to understand what you're getting and to kind of sell that moment. But content production has become expensive, it's slow, and that has been a constant. On top of that, the amount of content that is necessary now can be a total drag for brands. Brands need product imagery, campaign imagery, ad creative, social content, on model shots, lifestyle images, videos, different models, different backgrounds, different channels, different formats, and different customer segments. And that's just to constantly keep shoppers entertained because it's social commerce. Scroll after scroll, brands have to recreate themselves over and over again. And traditionally, that means booking a photographer, hiring models, getting a whole set and production day done. I used to work on set. It was super fun. I did love it, but it definitely is a production. And then after production, you have to retouch those images. You're waiting for weeks before everything is ready. All of that was super cumbersome. So this is where Caimera is special and why they're in our directory. So they help brands create product photos, videos, social content, editorial images, catalog visuals, model swaps, background changes, recolors, and other e-commerce creative assets using straight up AI. So you might be thinking, oh, so they're replacing jobs, but really, the pain point here is content creation at scale. So if a brand needs more visuals, faster campaigns, lower production costs, which is very important, or even creative testing, Caimera becomes a strong match. Now, this isn't necessarily taken away from jobs because you can still work alongside your teams or photographers, but when you need to test things and when you need content at scale, this is super important. AI imagery is not just about making pretty pictures, it's about giving brands more flexibility. And if you've ever had to run a company and do photo shoots consistently, you know how much it can eat into your budget. So this one is great because it's about helping teams test more creative content before committing to a full production spin, which is a way to balance both using AI and still implementing tools for the creative economy. It's about making it possible to move at the speed the market expects without burning the entire content budget every month. So, in particular, for growing brands and for established brands that are trying to show up consistently across e commerce, ads, email, TikTok, Instagram, and paid media, this is a real unlock. So that's Caimera AI. Check them out. We think they're dope enough to be in that directory. And if you're looking for that type of content at scale, you should definitely reach out to them. So next we have Catecut. Catecut is focused on product content for fashion e-commerce. I know product descriptions don't sound like the sexiest part of fashion technology, but they are one of the most important parts of communicating exactly what your customer who's shopping online is about to buy. And getting that wrong just affects so many things. So product content, it especially affects search. It affects filtering. It affects conversions. It affects returns. And it most of all affects how shoppers understand your product. So getting this wrong and not using the best technology could cost you, and you wouldn't even know because you're just looking at the wrong numbers. Now, it definitely affects how AI systems will also understand the product. And as we already know, AI bots are doing the searches now for people. So if you're not showing up there, it's a problem. So if your product page is thin, generic, or missing any type of important information, the customer can absolutely feel that, and you can tell in their behaviors. If they do not understand the fabric, they don't know the care instructions for products, they can't properly compare their options quick enough. All of these things can turn your customer off. And maybe that's something that you didn't think creates a bad experience, but it absolutely does. If a customer can't filter correctly, they don't know whether the item fits their needs. And when they don't know when the item fits their needs, guess what they do? They pass it by and they move on to the next product. Catecut uses AI vision built for fashion retail to identify apparel and jewelry design details from product imagery. From that imagery, it can create accurate descriptions that are going to work the best for AI engines and searchability. So that also includes metadata, tags, and multilingual product information. It also helps to send that information directly to the product page. So that way, it's taking what you already have and it can enhance it and it can think all around you. The pain point here is product content bottlenecks. To put that into perspective, if a retailer or marketplace is managing hundreds or even thousands of SKUs, and the manual product content process is slowing them down, Catecut is a strong match for you. This is one of those solutions that sounds operational, but it absolutely touches your revenue because we do understand that better product data supports better search. And better search means you have a better chance of generating revenue and that your product is matched with the right person because that means better filtering, better SEO, and better AI searchability. Most importantly, it gives customers better confidence. And when customers have better confidence, guess what they do? They buy more. So more informed customers also get fewer returns, and this is important. And more informed customers also create less dead inventory. So they're in our directory. Make sure you check them out. Let's talk about Catalog AI because we just got done talking about AI search, searchability, and all of those things. So Catalog AI is solving a problem that is becoming more important every day. How exactly is your brand showing up on the AI shopping tools? Now, we've heard about agentic AI. I've even done videos about it, but actually using a product that's super easy to use and get your products into the right tools. Now that has been a bit of friction. So for years, brands have optimized for Google, which is great. And they've optimized for Instagram. That is great. They've even optimized for TikTok, which is fantastic. But where we're finding the most friction and where we are seeing the gaps is, has it been optimized for AI yet? You may have optimized for paid ads or marketplaces or even your own website, but getting it right for AI can cause a lot of frictions with brands. As we said, over 50% of the searches being done in AI is actually bots searching. And so if you're not showing up with the bots, they're actually losing money. So shoppers are actually beginning to use more conversational AI tools to discover products, and they want to have a normal conversation, right? So a customer may not type, I need a black blazer, women's size 12, blah, wool jacket, whatever. That's something that maybe the product description have, but they may say, hey, find me a structured black blazer that works well with my curvy body, feels polished, and it's under 300. You see, if you put that into Google, Google wouldn't quite understand what you're looking for, and the searches could be a mismatch. That is a completely different discovery environment using that natural language. So your product data isn't structured in a way that AI can understand that your product actually matches what the customer is talking about. You can guarantee that your product will not show up correctly, or worse, it won't show up at all. So in that way, Catalog AI helps merchants optimize and send product data so that AI shopping tools can interpret the brand and its products more accurately. The pain point here is AI commerce visibility. If a brand wants to be discoverable in the next generation of shopping, they absolutely have to take some steps and implement some tools that will allow them to do that. Product data has to be clean, structured, complete, and ready for conversational AI. So, this is one of the reasons I keep telling brands to stop thinking about AI as only a content tool. You've also got to think about it as a product tool that enhances your products, creates better searchability, and it's becoming a new shopping interface. It's even becoming what you can call a discovery layer. And in the world where AI is becoming a new channel, your catalog is not just a backend file. Your catalog becomes the language that AI needs in order to give your products proper visibility and understand your brand. Catalog is building the future for this. So they are in our directory. And if you're interested, definitely check them out. They've been vetted by us, and we think they're solving a really dope problem. Let's talk about Delvify. So let's switch gears a little bit and think about the supply chain. So Delvify is focused on materials management for fashion teams. And this is one of those areas where fashion desperately needs better infrastructure. If you've ever had to work in materials management or sourcing fabrics, you completely understand this. But if you're going to have a brand, you need to understand why this is important. So before a product becomes a product, someone has to choose the materials, the fabric, the finish, the weight, the fiber content. All of those pieces of information are important, even the supplier, down to the cost, the minimum order quantities. All of these things are important. And nowadays, you even have to think about the sustainability requirements, the production timeline. In many companies, all of those processes actually happen across supplier catalogs, swatches, PDFs, spreadsheets, emails, folders, and disconnected systems. All of these disconnected systems create friction. They're all fragmented. They're all very slow to get the right information and streamline some of these friction points. So then it becomes problems between design, sourcing, product development, and production. Delvify is an AI-powered materials platform that helps brands, suppliers, and manufacturers create centralized material sourcing, collaborate faster, reduce errors, and get products to market with less waste. I don't even need to go into details as to why this is helpful, but we will. The pain point that it solves is slow and fragmented material sourcing. And now that we're seeing how important materials are, as your favorite brands are being sued for the chemicals they're putting up there, everyone needs to pay attention to this. If a brand wants to move faster from design to production, improve collaboration, reduce material confusion, or just make better sourcing decisions, Delvify is a strong match. Now, this is the type of technology that doesn't always get the biggest headlines because it's not sexy. It's not like Gen AI, but it matters tremendously. Just pay attention to the news right now. We're about to have regulation that absolutely changes what the sustainability requirements are, and you need to be as organized as possible in your sourcing. So material decisions absolutely shape cost, they shape quality, they shape sustainability, they shape margin, and now they're even starting to shape health. So that's how important they are. Also, making those decisions can affect your speed to market and finally, your final product. So when we're talking about fashion technology, we just can't talk about what the customer sees by itself. Some of the most important transformation happens behind the scenes where products are actually developed. And this is where the industry does need a lot of help because there's going to be a lot of changes in regulation and consumers are changing their preference for clothing that is actually healthy for them. So now that we've discussed some of the internal technology, let's move on to retail intelligence with Unabandoned AI. Unabandoned AI is focused on helping retailers become more intelligent, agile, and customer-centric by using purpose-built retail domain language. So let me translate that into normal business language. Retailers basically have a lot of data. Now, that's not a surprise. That data consists of website behavior, cart activity, purchases, returns, POS data, inventory movement, email engagement, customer preferences, demand signals. But a lot of that data sits in different systems. And as you may or may not know from following my videos, when data is not connected to decision making, it becomes another dashboard and a useless one at that could be valuable, but the connectors are missing. And to be honest, retailers do not need another dashboard just to admire the problem. They need better decisions, which is one of the key ways that I think AI is super helpful when it is given the right pieces of data. So Unabandoned AI is focused on connecting customer signals to operational decisions across merchandising, planning, pricing, inventory, and customer experience. Specific pain point here is fragmented retail intelligence. If a retailer, for instance, is overbuying the wrong product, but underbuying the right product, relying too heavily on markdowns, or missing demand signals, unabandoned AI becomes a relevant match. Now, this is where AI in retail really starts to get serious because the real power isn't just in using AI to write marketing emails, which is I find to be extremely annoying. The real power is in using intelligence to protect the margins, to make better buying decisions, to plan smarter, to price smarter, and to understand what customers are doing before the business feels it's too late. Now, this is the kind of AI that retail actually needs. So they're in our directory. Definitely take a look if you want smarter AI retail systems. So next we have body data. So body data is an interesting category because this is where I got my start in fit technology and specifically in the body scanning technology departments. Now, my favorite categories are always going to be size and fit, and body data are still some of the biggest, most unresolved problems in fashion. Whether it's collecting the right data or correcting your grading or creating patterns that works for the population or communicating that, fashion has been playing in our faces on sizing for years. And so I take my hat off to all of the companies that are trying to fix this all the time. One brand's medium, as you know, is another brand's large, and a size chart does not always reflect the actual garment, which can be frustrating. A customer may need to order 3 sizes and return 2, and we all know how this affects brands. When this happens, we do not like this. Uniform programs may spend too much time and money on manual fitting, and fit issues remain one of the biggest reasons that customers lose confidence. And as we spoke earlier, customer confidence is actually one of the most important metrics that we can try to measure and improve. So body data has developed Cora. It's a handheld 3D body scanner that measures a person's body beneath their clothing. Now that distinction matters for a lot of reasons because one, there's no complicated fitting room setup. You don't have to worry about stripping down into your unmentionables to be photographed by a stranger and then to see yourself as a blob and really hate it. And that is an experience that I've had several times because I test these type of tools and I'm very curious about them. And there's definitely no awkward scanning booth because who has time to build those or ship them? It's just not cool. So the scanner is designed to take 3D body measurements while someone is in streetwear or whatever it is that they have on, which makes the technology more practical for real world fitting environments. Now, the pain point here that it solves is inaccurate sizing and inefficient body measurement. It also solves the pain point of embarrassment from having to step into body scanners that is an experience people do not like.